What is up, everybody?
Yo,
We are
yo.
live.
Happening.
What happened?
I got three top dogs with me tonight from the J Con, or oh my goodness, my brain just went left instead of right. From the Team Associated Vintage Off Road Championships in Las Vegas, baby. So these guys aren't just champions from this race, they are vintage champions from around the U.S. So we got introduce Mr. Adam Rayls. Adam, if you want to give a little brief intro, tell a little bit about yourself, what shoe size you wear, all that good stuff. But yeah, tell them a little bit about yourself and where you're from and, you know, why you're such a badass.
Well, Dirk, we could go on for hours about what a badass I am.
I know we can.
So, anyway, I'm from Indiana, small town nowhere, Indiana. Been racing since '93 was probably my first actual race out here, and a lot of fields or backyards around Indiana, a lot of backyard tracks, a lot of outdoor. That's all we had. We were never running indoors for a long time, and it was few and far between, and it was only in the winter. And man, well, we get into it about start building some vintage cars of what I had left over about 2016, and then 2017 I went to the vintage Nats.
I remember that year where you came and waxed everybody's tails.
That's the first time I met you right there.
Was it?
Yeah, that was the first time.
Was it not? So that was before all the P and T days,
Yes,
right?
Yes, I met you there first, and then you came out for the races out here. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so I won buggy and truck at that 2017 Vintage Nationals. That B2 and T2, the exact same ones that I ran at the Associated race there in Vegas. I just a few years down the line, a few parts here and there, some new anodizing, and a few new parts.
Yeah.
Shocks. Got to have them big bore shocks.
So you are, these guys, we're going to talk, but, these are the vintage gurus from around, Adam, I couldn't be more proud of what you did. See, in all honesty, seeing the three of y'all on the driver's stand with all the world champs and the different races was really the proudest moment for me of the event. So thank y'all and for what you did. I know it had to be a proud moment for y'all. I mean, Jesus, the picture I posted, y'all are up there. You're literally Adam rubbing elbows with Masami up there,
That's right.
I
have that picture. Drew Boyd bought me the snapshot from Mod at the race.
Right.
And I was just looking at that before we started. And yeah, it's the same picture. And I got it up there on the wall up next between my B2 and T2. And
That's
I was
awesome.
like, man, every time after I saw the first few pictures, and not that I didn't know who I was standing next to every time on the stand, I was just like, for real? Am I really?
Real.
It's like Mark and, Masami and Matt. And I'm like, dude, I think we're doing okay.
I think so too. So you won truck, right? Stadium truck.
91, 96 truck.
And then you had a pretty strong finish in the B2 as well, right? B3?
I was better with the team car, with the World's car.
Okay.
In that class. That one, the 89-93 went rather well. A2, I ended up getting a fifth in A2. And I got around Mark for fourth, but I couldn't hold it. Like, I got a little loose on the last lap. And
right.
Mark got it back. And, dude, I almost had a fourth. I was just driving. I don't even know. It was out of my mind. I got done, and I couldn't even believe what was going on.
Yeah.
Did
you beat Masami in that class?
Yeah. I got around him in that main. He made a bobble in front of me. I got around, and I pulled away after that.
Dude, I would probably just retire after that damn race.
Dude,
I'd be like, I'm done. I've done all I can do right here.
Look, if that's the last race I ever had to run, could I be that sad about it?
Right? Probably not.
What?
Probably not.
It was quite satisfactory to feel. Yeah. The
I'm
truck,
proud,
though,
I'm
the truck.
proud of you, brother. And thanks for joining us tonight.
Hey,
Down here in the bottom, we got a legend from I guess you'd call it the West Coast, wouldn't you, Scott?
Yeah, I
Pacific
mean, kind of Southwest, New
West.
Mexico, Arizona, kind of hailing
Yeah.
from both.
Yeah. Mr. Scott Spear in the house. Scott has been dominating the 4-wheel drive class for a while now with a very special car. And no joking, the other cars as well. Scott, you want to tell everybody a little bit about you?
Yeah, I mean, I've been racing a while. You know, the whole vintage thing started kicking back off here a few years ago. You know, Larry out at Hobby Action brought the Kinwald Classic back and wanted to make it vintage, but there really wasn't enough vintage. And then we started sourcing parts and realized you needed a second mortgage to get some of the parts for these cars. But it, you know, as a whole, we started kind of going into it. And then, you know, we had the Vegas race. We had the Clash of Champions earlier in the year. That race was honestly a blast. First time I remember meeting Chris. I'd met Adam, I think, once or twice before. But this was the first time I had met like Chris there. And I'd always seen Chris running all these vintage cars and stuff. And kind of his name was, you know, kind of the top of the board of the vintage stuff. And I'm like, all right, this VanAir guy's here. I'm like, cool. So we went out and we were in the first heat together. And I'm like, man, I had a great run going, and then stupid car decided to let go. 30-year-old part took a shit. But, you know, I spent the rest of the weekend chasing down VanAir, and then Adam comes kind of last round of qualifying, throw some heaters down. And I'm like, Rayls always been fast. All right, cool. We got, you know, these guys and some old local guys I used to race with, Zayas, you know, Jose and them. And honestly, I had more fun at that race than I've had in years. And 30-year-old cars, just having a good time, drinking beers, having a good time with the guys.
Y'all definitely drank some beers.
That's a fact, baby.
If you didn't win anything,
Dirk,
you won.
Those are not just beers. Those are camber gauges. They're camber gauges. You have to understand.
These are
You're
facts.
not hip to this.
Camber gauges.
They are.
As long as the pit table's clear.
Yeah.
They camber your body, right?
Just because they have blue mountains on them, it's just an upgrade, okay?
So, Scott, you've been doing some great things.
Accurate.
I know you've been doing a lot of work with Ruben and getting his cars right. And after we do Chris's intro, I got a little special video y'all are going to see for the first time from Ruben and Greg Croft. You know, it's funny, Scott, you're talking about Adam and Chris. It's like when these guys get together, it's a freaking battle. And I don't know who's come out on top in the last few. We may have to have a little debate about that one. When's the last time before?
I tell you,
is that what you're talking about, Dirk?
Rayls' BJ4 was on fire.
Right.
Listen, that thing is still broke on my shelf, just like my heart from losing that main. Okay.
Dude,
you would have had him if it wasn't broke, right, Adam?
Dude, like like at the 5-minute mark, the front diff let go, and it was automatic steering. And if I let out of the throttle, it turned immediately whatever direction, and that was that.
Damn it.
Yeah. All right. And no introduction needed. The pretty boy of RC, Chris VanAir. You notice I said it right. My wife has been coaching me.
There you go. That's good.
You know, I said Van versus Vaughn.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I like Vaughn better, but I'll stick with Van because I can see you in a white van that says free candy on it. So I'll just.
Hey, listen, I had a white Astro van for a long time. Okay?
Oh, did you really?
I totally would have brought you in the back of it.
Oh, here we go. This is gonna be a fun one.
No showing cool RC stuff, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's to wrench.
Yeah, wrench. Bring me back in to show me some tools.
Exactly.
So, Chris, the people that don't know, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about you?
Well,
I don't know where
Chris
our name
VanAir. VanAir is something I came up with when I started racing at 9. My last name's actually Van Ramdunk. It's Belgian. It is impossible for the average person to say when they see it on paper. So through most of my life, people have butchered the crap out of it, and I have all kinds of nicknames that go with it. A lot of them are a little R-rated, so we'll leave that alone. But I came up with Chris VanAir because at the time Nike Air was cool, and I was 9 and I liked to jump my car, so I thought VanAir, and it just kind of stuck. And so my dad and I, uh, father and son team, we'd go to the track, we'd race, and my dad was Mr. VanAir and I was Chris VanAir, and so it just kind of stuck. And so I grew up racing in the Detroit, Michigan area, like I said, when I was 9. And kind of just not even realizing, but just kind of interesting circumstances where I happened to start racing at. I was at the same track with Al Horn, Josh Cyril, Mike Blackstock, some on-road legends, and just around some of that greatness as a kid. And the club scene that I raced at was just insane. It was really back. It was indoor carpet stadium because in Michigan the weather was just so iffy. And generally during the summers, my dad and I would go out on our boat. So in the fall and the winter time, we'd go race indoor carpet stadium. And so you'd show up there on a club night, and there'd be like 150 entries, and it would go to like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. And stock truck at the time was the big class, and they would go all the way down to like the, F main or something like that on a club night. And it was just awesome. So I had a lot of good time running that. And then unfortunately, when I was 14 years old, my father passed away, and kind of put a halt to a lot of things. I raced for a little bit, so my mom got me in touch with some of my race friends and got me out racing at the Mars Series in the summer of '96. And so I actually got to race at the legendary Freedom Hill track where the worlds were in '89, I believe, or no, '91, sorry.
Very cool.
And so that was really cool. That was the first outdoor track I raced on. And Al Horn actually handed me my first set of tires. There were some Jam & J step pins that I ran there, and it was just so badass. I remember opening up. I was running a low C car. I had my double X, and I remember going down the back straight, and that thing was just like walking all down the straightaway and bopping around. I just thought it was the coolest thing, and just was obsessed with it. But I wasn't driving, and my mom was getting tired of like trying to get me back to pick me up at 2 o'clock in the morning at the meetup points with the guys, and so she kind of put the kibosh on that. And then funny as things would have it, I ended up becoming friends with Adam Drake before the Drake days when he was living in Michigan. He actually took me around to a few races and some fun stories with him. And then, like I said, took a little bit of a break. And then later on in life, I had the opportunity to move to California right after I got out of high school, and moved out there. Funny enough, reconnected with the Drake out at the Dirt in Hemet, the original Dirt. And it was funny because I bought a gas truck, and I bumped into him at the track. I'm like, hey man, it's like, oh my God, I haven't seen you forever. He's like, what kind of car you got? And I'm like, oh, I got the low C your car. I was just like, I got the Drake car. That's the one. And so, but yeah, so I ran some gas truck, and then, funny, I didn't, and this is where it kind of comes to the vintage thing. When I moved out, I didn't have a lot of money. I picked up this gas truck, and as it would be, it's just hard to do that by yourself. I didn't have anyone to go to the races with. I didn't know anybody. So I had, from when my dad and I first started racing, my original low C LXT. And so I ended up moving to the Santa Clarita area and just didn't realize that that's where Hot Rod Hobbies was. And one day I was at the Hobby Town in the town there, and they were like, "Oh, you should go to Hot Rod." So I bopped over there, and next thing you know, I started running stock truck at Hot Rod with my LXT, and found a lot of success with that. And then ended up actually running the '05 Reedy truck race with it, and made some mains with it there. And so it just been, like I said, bouncing around for some years like that, and now found my way out to Georgia in 2019, and here I am.
Here you are.
Yeah.
So there were some races. I don't think people realize how long you've been doing vintage.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
had some races that made you the truck race that time you took it out and waxed
Yeah.
everybody's.
So I actually went to that Reedy truck race, and I showed up, and again, I didn't have anything. Jimmy Babcock, for don't know, he runs Hot Rod Hobbies today. They have like a bargain bin in the shop, right? With all the old parts. And dude, they'd have like some cool stuff in there, like the old Hammond Grumman aluminum parts and stuff for the GTX and all that
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
So I remember from my LXT, I'd go digging through there and I'd find all these aluminum parts and I'd just retrofit it onto my LXT to make it stronger. And, I just put some stuff on there. And I mean, this thing was flying. And I'll never forget, the whole Team Losi squad came out for like a month, like on club nights to practice. So it was like Drake, Aaron Waldron, a guy named Jay Philippow, who's more known for on-road, was coming out. And he was club racing stock truck. And I was club racing stock truck. And I was out there just kind of handing it to him. And I remember like Drake and all them and Walter, they're like grabbing my truck after the race. They're like looking at this thing. They're like, what in the hell? They're like, is that really an LXT? And I'm like, yeah, I mean, it works good, man. I don't know, and they're like, shit, yeah, it does. Just keep running that thing. And I was like, okay, cool. And so, I ended up at the Reedy truck race. I mean, stock truck back then was huge. And I think it was, it was probably like 4 or 5 mains just for stock truck, I mean, and I made the A main in that. I ran 19 turn truck, and I think I made the main in that one. And then I made the B main and open mod truck with it.
Wow.
And yeah.
So you've been around for minutes. Thank you, Adam and Chris, for all your help and support you give me on the back end. Scott, I know we're getting there. Adam, most of your advice at Vegas helped me. Chris, your advice at Vegas screwed me up. So from now on, I'm going to Adam for my advice at the track. So,
Perfect. No
Thanks
problem.
a lot, Chris. Thanks a lot.
No, hey, that was just strategic.
Yeah. No doubt. No, for real. Thank you both.
Yeah.
Yes, you guys are out racing the cars all the time, and it's very helpful when you only run. And I'm trying. I got a little box sitting behind me. I'm getting ready to start cracking into this this B7 sitting behind me that I'm getting built after I get a few more things from Associated for it.
3-gear.
Say what?
3-gear.
That 3-gear transmission, baby. That thing's
3 gears
nice.
on the way, and a few other things to make it the way the specs are that you sent me. We'll get it built, and then I've actually got a truck coming from my buddy Frank Denny, so I need to.
Did you get his T6?
Yeah, I did. I just bought it, and I know there's not tremendous changes between it and the 7, are there? But if there are,
no. I mean, like the T6 works great. My T6 was ripping over there. I think Adam ran is there too. I mean, the T6 works great at Hoosier.
Where at Hoosier?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, mine's good.
Yeah, stadium truck's definitely my favorite class, right?
Yeah.
Back when I was running modern a lot, it was mainly on carpet. So I think the first time I ran modern on a modern 2-wheel drive buggy on a dirt track was at Hoosier. I think I ran your old B6 or whatever it was, Chris, there at Hoosier. So it's going to be interesting. I just want to get out racing, right? And we need to figure out how to get vintage at all these different things. But I got a little special video I want to show y'all real quick. Y'all mind?
Let's see it.
All right.
Go for it.
Y'all ready to have your mind blown?
Let's see it.
Let's see it.
All right, everybody, turn it up, turn it up, turn it up. See if I can do this right.
Are we gonna be able to see it?
All right, you are going to be able to see it, sir. I think. I hope. Y'all ready?
Yep.
Can y'all see it?
Well, I see something.
All right, Greg. Thank you for the video. Ruben, this is a tribute to you and Scott. Chris, basically. Sorry, Adam. I don't think you ran one of the cars, but here we go, guys.
Here we go. Inspired by the masters of the craft. Engineered with precision and championship vision. Produced with purpose, we didn't come to lose. Hit the curves with aggression. And work out the suspension. Victory is what we choose. So I say it again. We come to win. We hit the track like it owes us money. Slap the jumps and bumps with the speed. We're taking it all 100. with the #1 seed. Look up, it's mine. Taking TQ and B1 at the line. This is our time. Don't whine. We coming for it, but we want more. We want it all, and we're going to take it. I want it all.
Win.
That's very cool.
Hell
That's
yeah.
pretty badass, huh?
That was awesome.
That is
That
pretty
was
badass.
pretty stinking cool.
Definitely badass.
Yeah,
Good
I'm
job,
like,
good job, Greg.
wow.
Definitely cool.
Yeah, Greg killed it, right?
Yeah, killed it. Looks awesome.
Yeah, that was way cool. Man,
I gotta
I've
go
never
back.
seen my four-wheel drive up close to a belly flop.
Yeah, that was pretty wicked. Greg, man, he did some great stuff in Indiana as well, and Ruben sent that to me, and he's like, I want to surprise the guys with this. They haven't seen it yet, and you know,
Cool.
his cars are doing well. I think yes, let's just say they're doing very well.
Yeah.
There might be a little controversy around them, so we need to figure that piece out and work through it. But they are freaking wicked, man.
Yeah, they're awesome. I've been having a lot of fun with them. It's fun running four-wheel. I think the biggest Achilles problem with four-wheel originally back then was just how brittle they are. But I know with Scott and me, we've been really trying to work with Ruben to make them a bit more resilient and, a little bit more durable to run. I mean, that's kind of more or less. I think the handling speaks for itself, but just making sure they finish races and doing all that. And I think we're really getting there. So I know Scott's been doing a lot of really good work with that.
I agree.
I know. VanAir and I have talked quite a bit. Like leading into Vegas, we went back and forth on some things, shock packages, hinge pin issues, just some of the stuff we've been having some stuff with. And I think both of us kind of went into Vegas pretty comfortable. I think my car had a little less issue out of the gate. I know Chris had a couple of problems with his there, but I think as a whole, with where we've got that particular car, the car is really well. The works car, like what Chris is running, the RXD, that conversion seems to be pretty dominant about everywhere. I mean, that car works really well. So
yeah,
I'm hopeful to see what the next chapter is for both these cars. And kind of see where we're going
for this one. I eventually want to run it. I still haven't run it yet. So.
You got to get that bitch out and put some packs on it.
Yeah, I know, right?
It'll do better when you beat on it, I promise.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think everything's a little better when you beat on it, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, yeah, maybe. So Adam, I know I want to talk about Vegas a little bit, and then we'll kind of get into. I know we've had a lot of guys drop some questions. If you have some questions you want answered, if there's controversy out there that you want to talk through,
what's the controversy?
There's a big topic out there. We'll talk through in a minute. Huh? Big bores, yes, big bores.
Can we wait?
So Adam. I know
I'll tell Adam. I'm going to cover Adam for Las Vegas. Okay, Adam showed up and just straight dominated. Okay,
right.
This guy had the sexiest T2 that there is, all blued out, and the guy just went out there and just kicked everyone's ass. Okay.
Yeah, well, it almost didn't look fair, did it?
I mean,
that truck was on point.
I felt like I was going as fast, and definitely wasn't. No, I mean, like, he was killing it. I mean, honestly, Adam was great. I know at one point when, when we made the world's main, which was the biggest class, I remember him and I like talking to him like, look at this list, and us two schmoes are just sitting here. I was just like, and I mean, he finished great. So I mean, Adam crushed it. I mean, he's tried and true, you know, in the vintage, and he's going to get it done every time. So he did great. So that's all we need to say about him. He's just a badass, and
I don't know
you know,
stadium truck, Adam. Have we been to any vintage events where you have not won stadium truck?
Yeah.
Yeah, which one?
The Hoosier race.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
Hoosier
right.
race.
Bruh.
That's right.
Listen, I want
Hodap
okay,
got
so
it right.
even though that was a home race for me,
Yeah.
I had 1.5 packs of practice ever with a vintage car on that track ever, and I showed
Right.
up to that race and just ran my shit, and like I just felt like that was a mistake on my part, but I didn't know
Great.
that race was going to be. I mean, we knew it was going to be pretty awesome, but you know what I mean? I was like, wow, this race really took off.
Right. It almost took your
Yeah.
breath away, right?
Yeah, and that was
It
a whole
was-
different feel to itself. That up to this point is one of the top 3 races I've ever been to in my life for sure.
Yeah.
And experienced so far. That's
Absolutely.
no, I didn't win truck there. Unfortunately, I had the lead for a little while. I made some mistakes, probably because of the small bore shocks on my truck.
Yeah.
But,
Right.
Stupid,
Right,
stupid
was,
small doors.
look,
You're not going to hold it back.
no.
So Hodap ended up taking that, right? I know,
Yeah.
Chris, you were
Yeah.
dominating. You
Yeah,
lost.
I TQ'd it, and then just
Lost
a
a
dumb just a dumb vintage part thing. Like when I put the truck together, you know, it's a lot. You know, I mean, again, if you know the cars, you know, they were working on releasing all the CVD stuff for the cars, and the stuff that was available at the time, at least that I had in my possession, was an axle. It didn't have the crush washer in between the bearings, and it just had the pin that went through. So when I tightened the nut down, it couldn't really tighten it down that hard because it would squash the bearing. You had to kind of snug it.
Right.
And like a freaking idiot, I was going through all my old parts, and I found the 832 serrated JC nuts from back in the day. I was like, these are freaking dialed. I like that. So I put those on there, but they don't have the thread lock. Idiot. And so I had snugged it on there, and it had been fine the whole weekend. And then trying to be super cool, I put the damn wheel dot on there.
Yep.
And
You
then,
remember what I told you when I gave you your wheel back?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's still in there. A little rattle.
Hey, I got Bryson Furnish on. He's saying hi. Team Associated, J Concepts. This kid right here is going to be a champ if he gets the right people behind him and he gets the right cars and stuff. So
Yeah,
if you're
he's
seeing
quick, man.
this and you're listening, this kid, you got to spend some time with him. Both of you did, right? And
Yeah, Bryson's a good kid. I like him.
Yeah.
He's fat. I ran with him at Hoosier, and then it was like
Yep.
a week. I think a week later, he was at the Vonats at Adrenaline.
right,
So
right.
yeah, he rips. I remember
The kid
watching
is
him at
fast,
Hoosier, and I was
man.
just like, I saw a double X ripping around out there, and I was like, who the hell is that? And then I looked, I'm like, who's this kid?
Yeah, and
The
he's
next
running.
thing you
He's
know-
running like some of Mike Kirby's rejects from the vintage collection, right?
Yeah,
And he's
well,
out there just
he's making him look pretty
dominating.
prime.
Yeah, he I'll tell you what, if he had a mentor like you, Chris, Adam, Scott, we get this kid on Associated, he would be very, very special. I think he's running Losey's right now. We don't hold that against him because he's a nice kid.
Yes,
But trying to get this kid some support because his dad and him work really hard, and they take him to a lot of events. They're very close to the Kirby family, and he's a kid that I really want to see us work with and mold. I don't think he's going to need a whole lot of molding because he is fast.
Yeah, I mean, I think if we just get him the cars, and I think he looks like he's going to do well. So,
yeah,
you know,
agreed.
obviously it's just situations. You put him in at the Clash and let him run with the boys in the 17.5 class. We'll see. That'll put some hair on your chest.
Oh crap! Jose's on. I can't talk about Losey's anymore. What up, Jose?
Yeah, he kind of bleeds Losey.
He does.
Yeah.
He is. I think he's a Losey team manager now, from my understanding. So, congratulations, Jose and I were up till I think midnight last night talking from
Are you
our
braiding
friend.
each other's hair?
Yes. I won't tell you what hair, but yes, we were braiding hair.
Nice.
We were up late talking to our buddies from Australia last night, talking about their rules and the different things they do. Kind of the founders of the bash, and it was an awesome conversation. And it was right after I did a live cast to raise money for Lake Park, which I want to talk about a little bit while we're on here as well. So Scott, I also your boy hit me up last night, so I want to start having some conversation with you on the side. It's time. You know, we've been talking about it, I think, for 4 years, right? About turning
the BK race.
Yep, about turning the BK race
all vintage.
True all vintage event. We're trying to figure out dates, so I'll hit you up separately so we can try to work on some things and get that going. I would love to get out in Arizona. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll facilitate anything I can do to help. I mean, yeah, it'll be good to have a big vintage presence out at Hobby Action. We've got to make stuff that's a little bit more vintage friendly. I know we've had some tracks, like I love the tracks we put in, and the last one was really good. It just, kind of running in Vegas now and then running at Hoosiers, keeping the cars a little lower is definitely going to be better. Yeah. A little lower as far as like on the jumps.
Right. Yeah. And we talked about that. I know you and I talked about that after the last race is if we're gonna promote a vintage event, we got to have a vintage track, right?
Facts.
Well, and I think you can have just saying it. I think Eddie right now, Eddie Henley, puts in the best 10 scale tracks hands down. Every track I go to, they flow nice. They've got good jumps. It's totally like an acceptable modern day track. You don't have to have these crazy Excite Bike layouts that just are ridiculous. I mean, some of these layouts where like you look at the top pros can't even hit the same line like two laps in a row, but I mean, it just kills the racing. But I mean, you look at like Hoosier, when Eddie puts in these layouts, dude, it just flows so nice, and they're good. Like you got to really plan your lines. It's almost like visually satisfying just racing it in general. I mean, it's just a good time.
I had so much fun at the Hoosiers race. I had never been to that track, but like it was good for vintage. It was good for modern, and like vintage and modern could be on the track at the same time, and someone didn't get just totally destroyed.
Right. Yeah.
It was honestly like, and the modern guys could clear the jump and downside it. The vintage guys could kind of like land on top and drive off. But like the jumps, the corners, and like I was really concerned going to that race because I'm like, we had never run a vintage car on a sealed surface, and I'm like, man, this is going to be a shit show. And honestly, I threw my modern car down first. I'm like, well, if something breaks, I got parts for this thing, no problem. And I went out there and I'm like, man, okay, the track flows good. I'm like, well, the last thing I'm going to put out there is my 4-wheel, because if that thing breaks, I'm going to be in the back with a machine shop getting her back together.
Right.
But it was like, I threw the B2 out there and I'm like, damn, this track's good. It's fun. Like you can drive it hard. I ran that a couple times, ran the B7 a couple times, threw the 4-wheel out, and I'm like, yes, this is like, if you really drove it like an asshole, it'd punish you. But honestly, like if you got around the track, you were still running top 5 laps with all the vintage guys. Yeah. But everything flowed really good. Like the jumps were good. The one jump going away from the driver's stand, that pole and I have, we have a special relationship now.
Oh, we
very fucking special.
Yeah, but we made out a couple times during that race for sure.
Yeah. I learned not to marshal there because I got hit once because the chair was too close to the left. I was, and I wasn't trying to protect the guy from hitting the pole with my back, but that ended up being the way it worked.
It wasn't a folding chair, was it?
Oh Lord,
I'm too fat for that. No way. No way.
So the funny thing is even the way I drive, I didn't break a part all weekend at that race, not one part. Right.
Yeah.
I thought it would break way more stuff.
Right. Now there was a lot of parts broken, but man, the flow, the surface. I mean, holy cow! It was amazing. He does lay down some amazing tracks for sure.
Yeah.
He's got anybody guessing what's going on in the back room yet? At Hoosier?
Oh, we already know.
I think we know. I don't know if it's been announced yet, so we won't say anything.
Yeah,
on
we're
air.
not. But it's going to be cool.
Listen,
Yeah, it's gonna be bad. It's gonna be awesome.
I'll tell you right now, the wait to get in to take a crap before those 40 plus qualifiers will be very short now.
oh,
Right? I heard.
Dude,
I heard it was Bucky's
was
bathroom.
terrible.
All you saw is that
Terrible.
restroom side. It's going to be a full-on bathroom lounge back there. I mean, he's already got that nice restroom sign up. It's going to be good, you know.
Well, he had the refrigerator and the couch back there, so you could chill and wait.
Yeah,
Right? And drink.
I like it.
Yeah, I mean, it was great while you waited. Just the line was more than the couch could take.
It is a comical thing as you get older. Most people probably don't pay attention, but man, I'll tell you right now, you know how many times I've seen Al in the bathroom before the 40 plus qualifiers? It's like we all flocked at the same spot at the same time.
guilty.
That is kind of funny. That is kind of. I mean, it's true though.
Look,
Yeah.
I'll see you there in
Squirrels on.
January.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty excited to go see him. We still have some beverages to drink that were a gift. So Scott, you said hi, Scott, or Scott, if you can't see that. The
Oh, there
squirrels
he
in
is.
the house.
What's up, Scotty? Appreciate you, brother.
So something cool, if y'all did not know that Scott, Jason Rono, and I will be starting a new series very soon, as soon as we get all the Vegas stuff done. And it's going to be called A Legend Story. So we're going to be pulling in legends from around the country and really hitting on the story piece, right? The fun stuff that happened while at races, the different stories between buddies, that type of stuff. So, so keep your ears open for that one. Hope to start it here probably in about a month from now. Maybe first of the year we'll gear it up, or maybe get our first one in December. We'll see.
Yeah.
So I think that's, kind of something everybody's been looking for, and, to have those two guys that had spent a lot of time out with these, different racers, and, then I can get some of the 80s guys on and talk about some of those stories. And I think it's going to be fun.
That's kind of the interesting thing with me, even though I'm not one of these super fast legends or anything, but like I got to travel around with like Truey for a little bit,
Yeah.
Drake a little bit, and got to see quite a bit. I got to roll around in the Losi van with the guys, stay with the guys. I've stayed with Travis before at some of the events, and it's always, back then it was just great. It was always so much fun, and that's why Losi was always so cool, because the Losi guys it was just the party vibe, It was always like AE. It was just kind of known that like BT always had like a curfew on the guys, so you had to be in bed and like tucked in by 10 o'clock. And then we'd be like, 10, we're heading out, Like,
yeah, we know you guys.
There's some guys I know, like from the, I forget exactly where he's at. Spear might recognize it, but Ryan Dawson, Dawson was always a good kid. He was fun to go out and party with, and
dude,
just some good stuff.
So we used to call him Neck back in the day. Like when he came into Albuquerque, and I'm like, who is this hillbilly? Like this kid was redneck, and his grandpa was like Mr. Redneck. But they were honestly two of the best people ever.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah, I spent a lot because him and Jimmy
in
Babcock
peace,
were good friends, and he was always a lot of fun. But yeah, lots of good times.
Dude, those were the best of times, man. Those were some of the best days, like the Losi Triple X, the B4s, like the camaraderie, the team bench, the associated team wouldn't sit on the Losi side. It was just like some of the stuff, I've heard like Scott Hughes mention some of it. Mescue would relate to it because he ran for both sides for a while. And I mean, it was some funny shit, but those were some of the best times of racing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Richard Medlin, I'm gonna have to cancel that AE contract he sent me. now that you're back in Jose.
Uh-oh.
Man, Jose and I used to run. Man, we used to have some battles back in Albuquerque. Like we ran it at Arcor, which was one of the clubs I helped found back in Albuquerque, and it it's an 8-scale only track now, which I can kind of see it. They've had some tracks have come and go, but like, man, Jose and I, we used to have some battles, and then we both went to the Worlds together in Florida. I mean, we had some good times, but it was always the associated low-C battle. Sometimes he'd win, sometimes I'd win, and then Gas Truck, he ran the Triple X NT, and I had the RC10 GT at the time, and I'm like, on Blue Groove, that thing was horrible. We got the GT2, and I'm like, thank God I can run with this guy now. So,
Jason Ashton's on. I don't know that anybody went home with more hardware than him. Hey, Jason, hit me up. I'd like to try to get you and the man on, Kurt Bush on, to do a race and kind of talk about y'all's time you had at the race as well. So hit me up. We'll make it happen.
Ashton was a badass, man. It was
God.
It was an honor to be out there battling with him. I mean,
Yeah.
Living in California, I heard of him a lot. I remember him running a lot of 8-scale. I knew more of the 8-scale stuff that he ran. And I remember he ran a really cool car. Just history of RC, I love it. I'm a nerd for it. But he ran a cool car. I think it was called the Pictor. Had like the lay down shocks on it for an 8-scale. It was like way before. It looked like the old T-Tech Predator, but the 8-scale version.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, I remember he had a cool picture. He had that, and that was like a cool thing that he was running for a minute. I thought that was super neat. But it was cool to see him racing again. And I mean, he definitely. Look, we're all competitive. We are extremely, and so. I knew when this fool came on here and started talking about, I got a prep track and all this stuff. That's when I was like, man, I need to start running, because these dudes are, they ain't laying back just coming in here to have some fun. They're coming here to win. And Ashton came to win. That's for damn sure. That guy had everything prepped, and
Oh my goodness, right?
he was ripping. So I mean, I love it. That's the kind of stuff that just it makes you get better. You know what I mean?
And it was like super fly effect, right? Like everything was
Yeah.
just right on. All his cars looked amazing,
Oh,
same. And he had like 10 of them.
Oh yeah.
It was good. I wish I would have got to spend more time with him, but he had a heck of an event. Jerry Walter, is another one I've been talking for a long time about bringing the BK race up, and him and I have become pretty close online, and he helped me a lot in Indiana to set up the casino and get all that going, which I think added a cool, fun element to that race as well.
Yeah, Jerry's a good dude. I pit next to him at the Vegas race. Ran with Scott. I got all set up with the Arizona connection, so it was a lot of fun hanging with all the boys.
Yeah, you did get to hang with them the whole race, right?
Yeah, I mean, Scott set it up, and then Jerry was next to us, and then God, I'm so bad with names. Who else was pitting with us, Scott?
We had Lake. We had Richard
Lake.
Lake.
That's right, Richard, my boy.
Richard, the voice.
Yeah. Buddy, he's my boy, Richard Lake. We had Kyle and Colton Davis over there.
Yeah.
We had Chris Wright. There was a bunch from Arizona there, but yeah, man, Jerry, Lake, myself, we're kind of like the travel crew. We're all in different areas, but we all kind of end up going to the same places. So we have a damn good time. And like I said, as soon as the bar opens, one of us is going to be there getting beers. That's just the way it works.
I'll tell you what, at 10 o'clock.
I need to start hanging with y'all more, I guess.
Some Blue Mountain started showing up around 10:30 in the morning, and I was just like, oh, I guess I should set my camber.
That's how it works,
Adam,
man.
did you have any beers at the race?
Who?
Yeah.
Who?
Yeah.
I was feeling good by the time I walked in the building every day.
Heck
it is.
yeah,
I'm
dude.
right on life.
Yeah. I need to be hanging with you then. So Adam, favorite part of the race in Vegas, kind of what kind of hit home with you, and if you had something to do over again, what would you do differently?
What would I do differently?
Yes, I want to talk about what was your most enjoyable part of the race first,
Okay.
and then if you could do something differently, what would it be?
All right. So, okay. Overall, most enjoyable part of the race for me was like we've all been to a million races or big races. And I put a lot of emphasis on this race, especially how the race in March went. Like I didn't do bad, but I wanted a lot more at that race. And being as this was going to be what a lot of us wanted was pins and ribs, running outdoor style track. And I was like, I put in a lot of work over the summer. I mean, a lot. And then I see people like Ashton, everybody shows up, and I'm like, did I even do enough? And like, I ran myself ragged, working on these cars, building new, like another B7 or the T7, the SC7, and all this other stuff I got going on. And to finally put in so much work, and then like, I just drove for once. Like I wasn't my own problem for once. And like I drove and I actually drove well after putting in all the work, and it actually came together for me. That was what was so gratifying is I put just so many hours into other races just to be like either drive like shit or just not work out for a million reasons. That's racing, you know what I mean? Anything can happen. But to actually step up, and I drove well. I didn't step on my dick, and I just drove, and it worked out. Holy shit, and it was a great feeling. That was what was awesome. I just couldn't believe after that last main how I drove with who I was up there with, and to hold my own and run just a grid race like that. But what would I do different? What I do different is I would have switched to whole shots or fucking whole shots, double D sooner. Instead,
Jason didn't hear that.
And like we didn't run those for 20 years,
Right.
But I would say because the track was breaking up so much during practice on Thursday and even the beginning of Friday there, I felt like it was breaking up a lot. And I was like, man, a lot of people were still having good times running Goosebumps, and I was one of them. And I was like, I'm going to stay on it because I run that tire at home. I know how comfortable it is, but some reason the track kind of got its shit together there on Saturday.
Yeah.
And you could run the double D, but man, it was really line sensitive, but it was better. But you couldn't step out. You couldn't get wild with it. Well, you could run more tire and kind of get out of the groove and not be so terrible. But if I'd have switched sooner, I could have qualified maybe a couple spots higher because I started 8th in both the buggy classes. And I felt like, man, if I could have just had maybe 2 spots better to start with, that could have made a lot of difference. But you never know how these races are going to work out anyway.
Yeah.
But I probably would have made that one tire decision earlier.
Okay. What was your biggest fanboy moment?
For me, fanboy? Seeing Masami introduce myself and be like, hey, yeah, I'm like that dude on the stand with you, but you don't know who I am.
Right?
That's
awesome,
was
dude.
Pretty cool. I mean, how many times has anybody gotten to even see Masami or race with him, that's still racing, or what I mean?
Yeah.
Last time I raced with him was at the 1989 Winter Nats.
I was 9 years old.
Right.
Damn.
Thanks, dude. Yeah, it was great. Hey, Adam, thank you for all the work you did at Hoosier and for this event in Vegas to get all these Legends cars ready. The last show we did with Matt, he was very complimentary on you and all your help and support that you did to get those cars built.
Absolutely. I mean,
yeah,
it's a lot of texts, a lot of phone calls, a lot of emails. Oh my
right.
God.
Yeah.
It was the Hoosier race. That was a whole other part-time job, just in that alone, on those extra pieces and all that.
Yeah.
That
did you build Chris's car too? I can't remember if you built Dosik's car as well. Did you?
Dosik? No, that was I think that was Eddie's house car.
Okay.
I think that one was.
No, that one come from me.
Oh, okay.
It was Drew's old car, right?
Any car that went through Drew or me, yeah, that was basically either have hands on it or it has my setup on it.
Sweet. Yes, I think it did have your setup on it. Still small bores though.
Yeah. Not terrible. That's
We're
what
gonna
I
get
ran
there.
into.
We're gonna
we
get
are
there.
we are gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that conversation for sure.
Not without a fight, you aren't.
Oh,
No.
come on.
All right. How about you, Scott? I know you've got to, you got to come to the race in Hoosier and then again in Vegas. It's been great to get to spend some time with you, get to know you a little bit better. But you're an awesome dude, awesome racer, and an awesome dude to hang out with, man, for sure.
Thank you.
So, even when you have Jerry with you, you're still fun to be around.
Dude, Jerry's my boy, man. Jerry's my boy. Kind of
Ride or
like,
die, right?
like, dude, Jerry and Lake are like, dude, those are my travel boys. We just do dumb shit together, go see shit, drink shit. Just, we're always going to have fun. We're not always going to be the fastest guys on track, but we're going to have a good time. We're going to go to RC races for what it's designed for. Hanging out with friends, meeting new friends, playing with toy cars. Like, we're going to go just have a good time and have some fun. So, as far as at the race, like for me, I went there with pretty big hopes and expectations, having raced, Chris and Adam and a bunch of the other guys. And then I'm watching all these other entries roll in, like Matt Francis, and then Pavitas is going to run. Then I get a message from Mark, hey, I need some help with cars. Cool. And then I'm like, Hodap's in, then Scott Brown's in, now Masami's flying in, Drescher's coming in. I'm like, holy shit, man. Like, they literally are bringing in all of the 90s and 2000s world's best drivers, and we're all going to run like this one class and throw down. And then we have, Spencer, and we have Mayfield, and, Spencer always gets very focused at a race. He doesn't always like to loosen up and have fun. Spencer doesn't drink. I don't hold that against him except for every single day of his life. But like, honestly, like Spencer gets very focused and he's all in, and he had some help building his cars. I helped the guy help him a little bit, but like Spencer gets in there and he gets driven. Like, he goes to what he knows and he just does it. And we all knew Spencer was going to be fast. Like, he's been racing, every weekend, week in, week out.
Oh yeah.
Honestly, hanging out with Mayfield in the pits too, like,
oh my goodness,
right? Ideas for this 89 car off of, Mayfield, and we're sitting there doing this, doing that. Then we got Tim Turnerman, a former engineer for Associated, and we're like looking at this car, and I mean, the car is like, what, 30 years old, 35 years old. I got those, baby. Got them. Got them.
Those I found those in a box of parts. I'm like, damn, I wish I'd had these at the race.
Yeah, I wish you would have had those at the race too. I'd have borrowed them.
Yeah, right.
We just kept, we kept looking at the car and throwing parts at the car. And, I was running Daniel from Dragon Punch RC, sent me an 89 car. He built it, and build. Like, the guy built a badass car. And I was working with Jeff Mahler from Factory Works on some of the stuff for the car. And, we're trying to do this, and I'm like taking measurements and setting droop, and I'm like, get rid of these small bore pieces of shit. Let's put real shocks on the race car. And so we went to the big bores, and we're sitting there. I see you laughing, VanAir. And so we're sitting there like, looking at the car and looking at up travel, down travel. And we're really going through the car, and we're like, we're at the race, and the back of the car feels broken. Like, it just, Mayfield's like, I don't know what to do but put, an ounce of weight in each of the tires and get some mechanical grip out of this thing. And I'm like, I'm about ready to be on board with that. And so, we tried a bunch of stuff. I threw the kitchen sink at it, plus the plumbing and half the electricity in the house. But, the one main I wanted to make, like the 4-wheel main, I was pretty confident I could top 5 in. The B3 class, I was like, top 7, but really wanted to be top 5, out qualifying Masami, beating him heads up in the first race. Like, I felt like my car was good, but the one class I wanted was the world's car class. And both VanAir and Adam just, dude, fucking hands down, laid it down, killed that. I wished I would have been in there with them. I ended up 3rd in the B for qualifying. I ended up winning the B main after some much needed insight that we got on the car. I got my car really good for the B main and ended up winning the B main. And I'm like, where was this car for the last round? I could have been with these guys, but
Right.
That was a one class. I think Adam and Chris would also say that was like the one class we all wanted to like top 10 in, because you have Matt, you have Ryan, you have Spencer, you've got Pavitas, you've got Masami, you've got Drescher, like you have all of the guys that we grew up, Scott Hughes, we've got all these guys that we grew up seeing race these cars. And it's like, for me, it was the Cinderella story again, just came up short, just almost there, just not enough. And I'm like,
Right.
what the fuck? So, that was the one class, like, I sat back and marshaled, and I'm sitting there rooting for VanAir. I'm rooting for Rayls. I'm like, get up there, get in that, put the nose of the car in that. Don't leave that corner open. Close the door, bitch. Go.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there rooting these guys on. I'm like coaching from the track, and I'm like, these are my guys. They're racing worlds, and I'm like, I wanted to be with them. I was there in spirit. I was coaching, but came up a little short this time.
I was trying.
Yeah.
No, you were trying. I'm like, you close the door on Mark, and I'm like, keep that shit closed. But dude, it was a good time. For me, I won the 94 to 2000 4-wheel class. I was able to beat Mark. I was able to beat Matt. Again, two guys as a kid I grew up idolizing. Honestly, for me, Mark Pavitas was probably the guy that like I always watched go around the track, and his car always looked good. His car always looked fast. He was always on top of it. His car never looked like out of sorts. I wouldn't say probably like Pavitas is one of the guys that I always looked up to as a kid. I got to help him with his cars. He made the main with some cars I got to build him, and I was like pretty stoked with that. So for me,
that's awesome. He
next
was
time
running a line at the race like I'd never seen. Did y'all see that?
Yeah, he had that tight line.
He come over
the right
the
side of the
top
track.
of the one berm after you went down the straight, did the little L, and he would come over the top of the berm. I was like, what the hell is that? But it worked. It worked for him.
Dude,
he made it work.
He ran a tight line.
Yeah, but that was my go-to part of the race. Like that was and honestly, just getting to race against those guys. I raced against Masami back at a Cactus Classic in Scottsdale, one time, and getting to race with those guys again, but being able to actually race an old car heads up with Masami, that was probably like bucket list, like top 5 shit.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right.
That
it was
same thought.
Yeah, it was like
getting Masami over here was like big.
Yeah.
Big, right?
Dude, 100%.
And I can't think it's associated enough for doing that. So, Adam, AE and J Concepts driver. Chris, AE, J Concepts driver. I know I'm an AE, J Concepts driver. Scott?
AE,
yes, AKA, but we don't hold it against him.
Yeah, we need to change. We need to change that this year, sir. Let me know when you're ready, Spear. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, conversations can always be had.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Okay. All right. I mean, one of my best buddies from back in the 80s, Mr. Joel Johnson, had a lot to do with that company, so I respect it.
Yeah.
I love Joel, dude. He is one of the best dudes. He actually sent me, I have a big yellow 06 F350 lifted diesel. In one of my AKA orders, the guys in the warehouse and Joel went and bought a big old Hot Wheels called the Brodozer. He put that in one of my orders. And ever since then, I've been Brodozer to Joel. It's not, hey, nice. Scott, it's hey, Brodozer.
That is awesome.
And then he ended up with an Opel wagon, and I called him, well, you're now Mr. Buick because it's the same car. So, but no, it was.
Oh, wow. So, did you talked about what you would change, right? A little bit. Is there anything you would like majorly rethink and do differently?
He would show up with a Kenwold car. That's what he would do, 100%.
Absolutely. That Masami
I think I would have.
So hurt.
Scott would have been fucking top 8, no problem.
Oh,
that
yeah.
Worlds class if he had a Kenworth car.
If
I
I
coulda
would have
had a
showed up
car
in my
that-
World's car, it would have been different too. I'm not
I
saying
almost-
anything bad about the 89 Masami car, but I
Well,
am
it was
saying
funny.
something
There was
bad about
actually
it.
let's be real. We're gonna be real for 2 seconds here.
Yeah,
Jay
yeah.
Halsey actually said, "I feel like I'm at the '89 Worlds all over again, and this thing sucks."
Yes.
But
He did.
but back to what Scott was saying, because I love this shit, right? So these
Yeah.
dudes like Mayfield, okay, this is a top consummate pro and has been for a long time. I can't tell you, he's over here making all kinds of racket. The dude's got a Dremel out and he's dremeling the shit out of his motor plate, trying to make the camber link longer in the back. They're trying to do all this crazy stuff, dude. This stuff they were doing to create toe in the back of the car, it was cool stuff because it was cool. Like they didn't have the parts to make it happen, so they were just making it happen.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's what was awesome to sit
Yeah,
there
I
and
did.
watch. Like they would all huddle up together, all the guys that run the Masami
That
car
is
and were
awesome.
struggling, they would huddle up together and they didn't have any quit in them. They were just trying to figure it out. And it was cool having a front row seat to listening to them. I mean, they would bitch a little bit about it, but they were like, no, we're going to figure this out. And they didn't give up. They just kept digging. And it was cool to watch. And it's, it sucks that Scott didn't get the goal that he wanted to. And I mean, he should have. But, again, they still kept digging and he got the win in his main that he needed to have. But I think that was a fun part of the race to watch is that, again, they didn't have a quit or cried about it. They're like, no, we're going to figure this out. And they just kept doing it. And that's what racing's all about. That's what we live for, is to keep digging on the cars and make them faster. And that's what's awesome.
For sure. Chris?
Sure.
It was fun, man. It was fun. Like I said, it gave us something to strive for. And it was like, thankfully, the other two classes for me were doing pretty well, so I could really devote time to like figure that thing out. But yeah, I mean, Mayfield
Why don't
kept
we
coming
talk about
over.
the class? The class you
Mayfield
won.
started buying beers, so it was good.
Yeah.
So you won what class again, Scott?
I won the 94 to 2000 four-wheel class. Basically the MX4.
Yep.
Double X was in there. BJ4s were in there.
Yeah,
it was a cool class. Like I said, the car, I put a lot of heart and soul in that thing. And finally I was able to get a victory. Like it was kind of like I told Matt at the bar that night. It's like when the ceremonies were all done and trophies were handed out, and Francis and I were sitting at the bar down in the casino watching the Broncos come back against the Giants. Thank God my Broncos won. We're sitting there and I'm like, for me, and I even told Matt, I said, for me, this is a Worlds. It's like, I've got you and Pavitas in here. I've got some other of my friends in here. VanAir's in there. And I'm like, this for me was like winning the Worlds. And honestly, that's what it felt like. I'm always second. I'm always third. I'm always runner up. And I'm like, this time I got to fucking win that shit.
Hell yeah. You deserved it, brother.
You did. You won.
Thank you.
You won it. You won it, brother.
Thank you.
You beat some of the biggest names in RC.
It felt good.
So it was. Let me ask y'all this question. Say we did not have winners and losers at these events.
Why race?
Then it would be stupid.
Well, I'm asking a question. Give me a second. Let me finish. Say that we ran, and there were no trophies. Would you still have interest in coming?
Well,
I don't care about
mean?
the
Well,
trophy.
yeah, but listen, here's the deal. Like, so this is kind of like going back to a certain someone that comments about vintage races that says that we're not really there. It's more or less like a vintage gathering.
It is.
But again, if we're having a race, it's a race. I don't
Right.
give a shit if we're trying to see who gets. If we're trying to get trash into a trash basket the fastest, I'm going to try to be the fastest. Like,
Right.
Right. At the end of the day, it is what it is. So if you're
I'll
going to
give you
have
my
a
89
race,
car.
then have a race. Then if you don't want, like, if you're going to just do something like that, then just have like a concourse where we just show up and talk about our cars. I mean, I think that if you're putting
So
stuff on
the racing element is important.
I think so, because I think that now, I mean,
I'm saying
again,
there would still be racing.
yeah, and again, I think at the end of the day, the whole reason anyone wants any of these cars is because we're fans of guys that raced them.
Right.
Now, yes, and again, going back on a nerd, we all loved RC Car Action's Readers Rides, right? We all watched that, where they had the bitchin' built out cars and all that stuff. And that's what, and listen, some of these dudes that put these cars in concours, awesome, like cool builds. But I'm not that guy. I like to run my car. I like to try to get it around the track as quick as I can. And I like the challenge of someone going faster than me to try to make myself faster. And I think that that's what drives me to race anyway. I mean, I think also at the end of the day, all of us, if we could and had the means to, we'd probably race real cars, but we just don't have the money to do that. So we race these, toy cars. And it gives us the same thrill. I mean, honestly, it's so funny. Like my father-in-law has an iRacing rig at his house.
Yeah.
And you can go into these racing rigs, and I mean, dude, you could change toe, caster,
Mm.
all this stuff on the cars. And I'm talking about all this, and he don't have a damn clue about any of it. But I know just from playing with my stupid RC cars what these things do. I'm like, man, if the car, like every time you get on the gas, it's just spinning out of the corner. I feel like I need to add this little adjustment to it. I need to do this. And then, all of a sudden we're going to drive it. And he's like, man, you fixed the car. How'd you do that? And I'm like, oh, it's just like an RC car. It just needs these little things and it makes it better here and there. So it's all fun and it's all relatable. And I think that's the challenge that all of us, like, we go to these races for is to find it. And I think that, for anyone that's watching that wants to know why Adam Rayls is so good or whatever, it's because Adam Rayls can show up at a track and within a pack, that guy's going to be on the fastest lap time because he understands what it takes to make his car faster. Or Scott's going to show up and he's going to know exactly what it's going to take. He's going to do the research ahead of time, what tires he needs to bring, what setup he thinks is going to work right. And then within an adjustment or two, he's up to speed by the next pack or two. And I think that that's what's fun about these vintage cars is, to be honest, the setup window for these cars is much broader than the current cars. And so you can hit on something and then make tweaks and just make it a little bit better, or you're at least in the window to run good laps, And then obviously depending on the tracks, like you look at the track that, I mean, again, all of us that are competitive watch what our competitors are doing. So Adam Rayls spends a lot of time up at that 5-star track up in Indiana there. And it's an OG like outdoor track. And I mean, dude, the guy's got his cars dialed. I mean, it's perfect old school track. Lots of bumps, totally normal jumps and stuff like that. I mean, I don't know that anywhere else in the country has a track like that you could run on that's 10 scale friendly, and it's awesome. And so, I mean, I think that being able to run those types of things is just awesome for when you come to these events, and running the vintage cars is just great, and it's easy,
You know where I screwed up is I moved somewhere where there's no damn RC tracks. I guess I'm going to have to create one.
I mean, that's where I'm at too. I mean, you look at Georgia, I don't have any. I have no 10 scale tracks at all.
You can open one at Buc-ee's.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, like, it's just, it's
there
tough.
used to be an amazing track in Dalton. Amazing off-road and on-road.
So it's funny. It's actually kind of funny. There's a couple of backyard tracks that I've just recently discovered on Facebook. They have like private groups, and there's 2 tracks in North Georgia that are like backyard tracks that are running. I know a Georgia racer, Brian Looper, runs up in that area. He's up north, I think northern Georgia, and I know he runs up there. He might be watching. Shout out Brian Looper. He's actually getting into the vintage scene. He's an OG racer. I know. I think he just picked up a Kenwall car, and I think he's coming out to that World of RC vintage race. And he's a good dude. But yeah, I mean, again, back to what Dirk's saying. I think vintage is really bringing 10 scale back for a lot of guys. I think in areas like where you are and where I am, trying to get an outdoor 10 scale racing scene going is what we really need to do to try to get 10 scale thriving again. And I'm here for it,
I am as well.
You know who would actually have a really good 10 scale outdoor track again? And this sounds funny, but Jimmy Babcock at Hot Rod Hobby.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That track would be
the
dope.
Hot Rod, the old Reedy truck race, truck shootout outside, starts it out wet and it dries out, it grooves naturally. Like that's kind of like rear motor heaven again.
Oh yeah. Yeah, with Drew Boyd out there now, I mean, I know Drew Boyd's got some connections with you guys now, and I think if Drew got together with Jimmy, which I'm sure would be not even an issue, I'm sure they could get something going. That track's perfect for it. The club scene that runs there, because Jimmy only club races wet still to this day. I know the locals hate if they run it dry. So I know everyone, they always run wet track, always. And I know they still get a good turnout for 10 scale. I know
Yeah, that
Mason
was
Templeman runs out there still every once in a while with 10 scale, and
yeah.
they get a good group. That'd be and then I know Jesse Granite runs out in Ventura and Camarillo. I believe they run
Yeah.
a wet track out there, and they get a good turnout for the 10 scale program as well out there.
Yeah, I just talked to Jesse tonight. He sent me a message. I haven't responded. Sorry, Jesse, if you're seeing this. But yeah, it's honestly, like there's some tracks, some outdoor tracks out there that would still be, old school M3s, green compound. I mean, back to just what it used to be.
Yeah.
The mid-motor stuff's fast, and all these guys are getting it. Like, honestly, when Spencer ran his B7 from the Worlds,
Yeah.
dude, that damn thing, as angry as I was about seeing it on the track, it was fast. And the fact that he was faster than
I
his
had no
normal
doubt.
car.
I already had no doubt it was going to be good. And I was,
Oh.
it already made me want my B7 after I ran it all summer, just
Yeah.
to see how it would compare on the same track. I wanted my car there too.
But
listen, hold on. Let's have a reality check for 2 seconds. Let's break this down. That car he put on the track had roughly a year of every associated engineer,
Yeah.
multiple test sessions in
Yeah.
Australia, making that car what it was for that moment. Spencer
Yeah.
had his B3 for that weekend, and that's it. And that thing went 2 tenths faster. So you can't tell me that if he had a whole engineer team and a whole year with a B3, that they couldn't have made it better. I'm just saying.
those are
You know?
facts. I mean,
And he ran a 7.5 in that B7, and he ran a 17.5 in a B3.
Yeah, it's only 4/10 off, right?
2
2/10
tenths.
off. Wow.
2 tenths. I watched
they
every
never
lap
did.
he ran.
They
I
never
watched
did
every lap
say.
he ran of that. I don't know that horsepower would have really made a difference, but I definitely think that the B3 in the hands of Spencer and Ryan was something magical to watch. I think that it really just showed a time. Like Mayfield will tell you that hands down that it's some of the best running he's done at 10 scale, probably in the last 10, 12 years, being able to run a rear motor car. And I think that it just goes back to what it was all about. Now, there's nothing wrong with where we are now. I
Right.
enjoy running at a track like Hoosier. I grew
Yeah.
up running on carpet, and I think that running on carpet's totally fine too. There's nothing wrong with it. I think the people that try to bastardize running on a sealed track or a carpet track, like, listen, I get it. If that's not your cup of tea, then don't run it. You ain't got to destroy it. I mean, for some people, like you look in Europe, it rains 90% of the year. It's the only option that they got. That's all they can do. When I was a kid and I grew up, the only opportunity I had was to run on carpet, and that's what I did. That's all I had. And I enjoyed it, and I had a lot of fun, and it was competitive. Some of the best racers to this day. Actually, if for a fun fact, I'm just gonna to pump him up a little bit. Josh Cyril, Michigan native, has the most Roar National Championships of anybody. That includes Kenwald. Mind blowing.
Kenwald and Masami?
Masami didn't have any Roar National Championships. He's not from
Roar
here.
Nats, yes. Okay.
Roar National. So Josh
Okay.
Cyril has the most Roar
Yeah,
National Championships of anybody in the United States. And that guy used to club race. I mean, dude, the guy also, he is a soft-spoken dude from Michigan. But I tell you, my Michigan people, even with Alhorn, genuine people. If you go up to Josh, Josh will give you the time of day. Very smart man. He's an engineer and loves RC. Has a lot of strong RC history, and is just a good dude to be around for sure.
Yeah.
100%.
Josh was awesome, man. It was good to see him racing vintage, right?
Yeah.
Josh was
And
cool.
he did freaking good, right?
Yeah. His super badass. Side note, not a lot of people probably know this. He just kind of said it to me. His daughter hand painted his body for him. I thought that was super cool.
Oh, that is super cool.
She knew she was
That
going.
is
I know
badass.
that Josh, total family man, stepped away from RC because his daughters play hockey. Super involved with his family doing that. So good man for doing that. And then now has a little bit more free time now, so he's kind of back doing the RC thing again. So shout out Josh Cyril. Good man.
Yeah. This great comment from Jerry Walter. I don't go to it, If you meet him, you don't think he's as smart as this comment, but he really is.
Easy, damn.
Oh, I
Damn, I love my
Jerry.
boy Jerry.
Yeah, he would say this. He would say the same shit about me. Trust me. I don't go to a race for a participation trophy. Yes, we go there to have fun, but I want to put my boot on my friend's throat on the track. Hell
100%.
yeah.
100%.
Couldn't agree more.
Well, and
So
Dirk,
what?
You always want to win, baby.
Dirk,
There ain't no
I'll
sense in racing for second place.
So Dirk, you haven't asked me yet, but I'll go ahead and ask you about the Vegas race. I'll give you my
Yeah.
2 cents real quick.
Okay, yes, let's hear it.
So what would I do different? A whole lot, right? So kudos to Scott, killed it, right? Drove it, but I felt
Thank you,
like I could have been in contention to win that, but I felt like I beat myself for a lot of reasons. I felt
Well, you
like I
do that a
didn't
lot, sir.
I do,
Yeah.
100%, and it's
Yeah.
something that I have to fix, you know.
Adam
But
got
again, like what he said, we're being, you know, these dudes on the screen are my competitors, right? I felt like I could have contended with Mr. Rayls up there, but in truck class, but I just didn't make the right decisions at the right time, and he came in more prepared. But again, for me in those types of situations, you can be upset about it, or you can take the lessons. And so I'm taking the lessons and what I can do better for the next time. And so I did. I asked Adam a lot of questions. You know, I was obviously with Scott's pit right in front of me. I learned a lot of things from that, and that's what you can do in racing. If you don't do or meet your expectations, the best thing you could do instead of being mad or what do you call it, envious of the guys that are better than you, is just learn. You know, the second you stop learning from your losses is the second
Right.
you're going to be a loser forever.
Yeah.
And you know, there's a lot to be gained. And so, you know, it's funny as I'm sitting here in this conversation, I actually have in my living room all my trophies sitting here. Shout out to Drew Boyd for making sure they got home safely to me. I know he helped out Mr. Rayls too and all that. So shout out Drew
Wow.
Boyd.
Awesome. Thank you, Drew.
But yeah, I mean, I'm looking at him like, yeah, I really wish I had some more there. I felt like my best run of the weekend in Vegas that I could hold my hat on, which is still a disappointment, was I was running third in the A sort in the modern, so the B3 car. I forget what the year range or how it was broken out, but with the B3 car, I was running third up until the last lap. I was running right behind Mayfield and Spencer, and I was only 4 seconds off of the lead, which to me was a massive win. I was holding off Masami. We were running together. At the start of the run, I'm old. I take a minute. I'm like an old motor. I take a minute to get going. So Masami was just up my butt grinding. And I was just like, I was trying to stay in front of him. And I was like, dude, screw it. I'm not holding this dude up. So I just pulled over, let him go. I'm like, I'm just going to latch onto him, see how we go. A lap later, he had a mess up. I got back by.
Right back by him. Yeah.
And I was just grinding. I'm like, all right, let's try to stretch this. And I'm grinding, I'm hitting my marks, and I was stretching it out and stretching out and stretching out. And I'm sure, as these two dudes on the screen will know, that coming onto the straightaway part where the track was breaking up a little bit, she would get a little bit slippy through there. And I got a little out of sort on the last lap of all things. And I tried to gather it back up, and then as we came back through the left side that had those skip jumps, as they know, there was a spot in there that if you just didn't go through the right, you just go flying. And sure as shit, I went flying on the last lap. Masami went by, and just that small situation dropped me all the way down to a 7th place finish, which was. But again, I try to take small victories, and I had a small victory there that we had the pace, but.
Yeah.
You know, you got to finish out the race, you know, and that's what I think at the end of the day, I went into the event having goals to make all the main events, and I hit that. But then as a competitor does, you want more. You never can settle. You always want more, right? And so,
Yeah.
you know, I wanted more out of my races, and I didn't get it, but it definitely, after everything was done and I got back to the hotel room that night and I got to sit and think about it, it was pretty amazing that being able to be in those main events with those guys and run with that, being able to be on the stand with Scott when he won and seeing his face when he won is awesome. To see somebody hit the goal that they wanted, that they worked so hard for. Same with Adam. Adam wanted that really bad. He deserved it. He puts a lot of time in. He's put a lot of time in for everybody else, and to be able to see them get that, it means a lot. You know, and again, I would categorize us as like the people's champ. We're the normal guys, right? We're not the Matt Francis. We're not the Masami. We're not with Pavitas. We don't have these accolades. We're the guys that have watched all these dudes our whole lives, and it's just awesome to try to be a part of it. You know, Scott got to build Pavitas's cars. You know, and Adams built all the guys' cars. Oh my God. You know, and then just for me, you know, I'm out here just
you
trying
built
to.
mine.
I built yours. You know,
Yeah.
gave you terrible advice. You know, par
Yeah.
for the course.
Yeah.
But you know, I mean, it's just you know, again, the events are really extremely memorable. I think that the Hoosier race and the Vegas race will go down probably in history for all of us as the best events we've ever been to. And I mean, again, I just recently was at a current modern day event, and the vibes are just so different. I think that if there's anything we can pull from that, is just trying to make, lack of a better way of describing it, RC fun again. Because when you go,
Yeah.
the demographic that's there just is so depressing.
Why don't we do this? Why don't we all show up at Hoosier,
Like,
right?
yeah,
And let's make it fun.
yeah, no, and that's what
I
I'm
mean,
about. I
seriously,
think,
let's
Bro,
let's
I'm
go
having a
there.
good time either way.
Right.
yeah, well, we
Regardless.
have a good time. I think it's just
Yeah.
keeping the vibe. But again,
Mindset.
I think that back then, like I said, I think that the top guys were having fun regardless. You know what I'm saying? And I think that now it's just so tough with the guys that have a paycheck on it that just take it so damn serious that like it's hard, you know, to try to watch all that. You know, I feel
Yeah.
like I think that you know, us normal guys, like, you know, we all three of us, I know that Scott works his ass off. He's a contractor. I'm a contractor. I know that Adams, you know, he's building engines, right? You're building engines. And so he's doing big things, you know, and so, you know, we all got families and things that we're doing, you know, so when we're going to these races, we love just to feel that competitive spirit and the camaraderie amongst ourselves that, you know, we'll work together. And at the end of the day, it's like I'll go over to Adam's pit. Adam's running at Vegas, he's killing it, right? And I'll go, hey man, what are you running here? He's gonna give it to me because at the end of the day, the deal is like, hey, I'll give it to you, but you still got to catch me and beat me.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
you know, and
Yeah.
that's what I love.
still
I
gotta
love it.
outdrive me.
You still gonna outdrive me, and so he don't care, and so I love it. You know, I mean, I think it's awesome. So I mean, that's
Yeah.
what I think we get out of these races, and I think that being able to promote that and keep that going is what really is what RC is about. And it's fun and it's serious. Like we can be serious about it. It's not a toy, obviously, but it is and it isn't. But it is also trying to find a performance level and really have this feeling of success. You know.
Yeah. Amazing.
All right.
No,
So
for me.
I'm under 20% battery. So if we're gonna talk these rules and anything,
Okay. All right.
get into,
Real quick.
Let's get to the rules.
let's
For,
get
let's
in.
blow it up.
for me, Vegas was amazing. Just seeing all the people there again was absolutely wonderful. Probably my biggest takeaway is you can take all the advice you want for your car, but you still have to be able to drive your car.
100%.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? So
Facts.
everybody is a little different when it comes to the feel they like on their cars, right? So it's to me, it's always been about finding and don't get me wrong, Chris, you helped me so much at Vonats and Rayls, and Chris, you both helped me at Vegas. But when it's said and done, it's about what feels good to you and what makes you faster as well. But making sure the car is set up right, but certain things as far as diff tightness, the way you like your cambers, the type of tires you run, it's all in what feels good to you, right?
And for you, that's definitely getting to the track more.
Yes, 100%. Yeah, right.
So,
You know, when I was racing every weekend, it's different. You know, I went from running mid C's to winning A's, you know?
sure.
And that's what it's about. It's about getting out there and racing. And all right. Y'all still good on time? I know it's late. Huh?
My wife
go.
is running her
Let's hit it.
podcast out in the garage, so whatever you want to do, man, we're good to go.
You
Let's
put
go.
your wife
You had
in the
to hardwire
garage,
that
bro?
shit earlier.
All right, so here's the deal. All right, we're gonna have a couple debates tonight.
Let's do it.
Big debate
What's
is small
item
bore,
one?
big bore versus small bore.
Okay.
So You know, we have, I think, I'm going to be honest, I think we missed the boat in Vegas on this one. I think our other races, we have classes that allowed us to have this, you know, with the small bores. Of course, this one has big bore springs on it. But my Halsey car, you know, Halsey's car that he ran in Indiana, that was my old Heritage car, right? I think those cars, depending on the class and the year, I think they need to keep small bores on them. So do y'all think there is a true advantage? I'm going to ask each of you. Is there a true advantage of running big bores? And if we had the proper springs and availability, would you still feel you needed to run big bores? Adam, you go first.
Well, as someone who currently still has multiple sets of all the old springs, all the correct springs, pistons, all that. That's what I took. That's what I took to Hoosier. I have everything at my disposal that I ever had in back in the day. I have it all.
Yeah, me as well.
And that's what I ran at Hoosier. And I think whether you're going to, is there an advantage? Of course, there's some. And the type of track, the layout of the track, the size, all of that is part of what determines how much of an advantage it could be. And I think for Hoosier, even with how tame the jumps were, I would have probably been better off with the big bores just because of it. Just there's a certain plush level to them, a little bit more consistent, but it's at that higher speed that we're running on. We're not running, you know, like in Vegas. I think in Vegas is the total opposite end of the spectrum. And like Hughes making the 89-93 main in his World's car, he had the small shocks. And honestly, I think that type of track, even with the jumps the way it was, the ruts that formed, you could have honestly ran the small shocks and been just fine on that. And I think the ultimate would be like, if you didn't want to just grading to run the big bore springs on the old shock, I think you're pretty good to go anywhere you're at. And I would feel confident taking that to anywhere. Did I put the big bore stuff on all my cars? Absolutely. But that's what I also have, all of that stuff. The rebuilds are easier. The shocks are maintained easier. They bleed easier. It's what I'm currently running on everything else. And I'm just, you know what
You're
I mean?
more familiar with them, right? Yeah, it's. So let me ask you one more question. What if everybody had no choice but to be on small bores?
Then what is the question? That's just what we're
right.
gonna do.
Yeah. So there's no, if everybody's on the same shock, there's no advantage or disadvantage, correct?
Well, here, hold on. Let me interject for 2 seconds. So everything he said is right. There's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
I put big bores on my stuff because all I have is 13 mil shit. That's all I got. So it's just easier to come up with it. A lot of people were trying to run 12 mil stuff because they had like extras laying around. I didn't have any of that. So I put 13 mils on. Now, if you're trying, and again, from having run the vintage car, Adam's seen me run this thing since 2014, the original Riris and all that shit. So I've run it on multiple surfaces. If you're gonna send that car to flat anywhere off of a jump, like launching it, it's gonna suck on the small bores. It just is. That's just what it is. But can you still do it? Yeah. There's driving techniques, landing on the throttle, all that. It absorbs it, whatever. It's fine. That's what we all did before. So we can do it now.
Right.
Now, I think that the biggest thing is, for me personally, I think that vintage should be inviting. I think that when I first wanted to get the vintage scene going in SoCal, the idea is like show up with this old pile that you had in the garage and you can run it and you can be competitive. You know, you can show up and just run. If you've got small bore, if you got a brush motor, whatever, you could show up, you can run a stock class and you're going to be just fine. I think that the scary thing that we've got, and we have to be very careful of, is that if we're creating a class where you got to show up with a $2,000 vintage car to compete, it's going to kill the vibe for everybody. I think that if you go, for anyone listening, I promise you this, you can go buy the Team Associated Kenwold car, the Vegas car. I'm sure they'll have another version of whatever that World's car is that's going to come out. That car with just a 17.5 motor, you can go to any local outdoor club race if you are a good driver and you can compete for a win against any modern car. I've done it. I promise you.
100%.
Like
100%.
that car
That
just
ain't no
works.
lie.
You don't need to have the big bores. You
Oh,
don't need to have
agreed.
any of
Yeah.
that stuff. If you just have a regular basic car. Now, we put ball cups, like better modern ball cups on there so they don't pop off. But again, you can still run what they've got. And I think that
Just don't hit
keeping
anything.
vintage, yeah, I think if you keep vintage inexpensive, that's where it's at. If we start pricing it out, it's going to be ridiculous. And to be fair, I'm deeply considering just running a kit car, ball studs, ball cups, and everything just to prove the point that
Yeah.
it's fine to run that car and be successful without all this crap on it.
Well, I
You
mean,
know,
that's kind
just
of what Jeff said here. If you think one of these guys to small bore shocks will let you catch up to them, you are mistaken.
well, and I know Team Associated / Michael Wartell put a thing out the other
Yeah.
day about the big comment between small bore, big bore.
Yeah.
And I know it can't be that hard for them to make it. If they would just
No,
re-release
it's
the
not.
threaded small bore body,
Yeah.
they had a bleeder cap, just like the new caps that we've got,
Yeah.
and they've got the cartridge bottom. Maybe make like a new O-ring and maybe like a machine piston for it, just to have like a little factory team thing going on.
Well, you got
You
the
know,
Moto Obscuro leader shock caps if you need them.
yeah. So I mean, like I think that if we just did that, and I know that I think Curtis was talking about. I think there might be a thing where they might put out like a more of a racers
Yeah.
kit, you know,
Yeah.
but I think that I don't think we need, I think all of us can probably consent to the fact that we're running the big bore shocks because that's what we have in our box. I know Scott runs mostly, he runs more modern, Adam runs a lot of modern stuff. Adam, and I haven't got the whole story, but Adam has a treasure trove of vintage stuff. I mean, I bet him and Mike Kirby, him and Mike Kirby might rival each other with all the crap that they got at their house. That guy's got stuff for days.
I have my own stuff, but like my dad's house is a whole house top to bottom with RC.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
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 It's a museum.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've got like some stuff, you know, and then obviously as I go through the years, I kind of purge this or that. So, you know, I mean, the main thing for me is it's just easier to get a hold of the 13 mil stuff, so I put it on there. But I have my original 2014 Riri car, and funny enough, I brought it for Drew Boyd to run in Vegas, and I hadn't touched that damn car. I mean, I don't think I've bled the shocks or opened them in probably 5 or 6 years, and he ran it as is and had a great time with it.
Oh,
It
yeah.
ran, it ran just great. It had an old motor in it. It was fine. My buddy Owen raced that same car at Vonats and had good success with that. So I think the cars are just fine. I mean, at the end of the day, for the most part, if you're running on a vintage track, you're trying to downside stuff anyway. And I mean, if you're downsiding jumps, then it really ain't gonna matter. It's when you start launching off of shit and sending it to the flat, like we do with the modern cars, and you're landing on throttle and you need it to suck all that up. That's where the big bores I think come into play, and all the piston stuff. But I think like just simplifying the cars. That's why the old cars were so good. They had like one setup that we all ran. You know, I mean, like
Right.
I think Drew Boyd has out the world's car setup. It's like the Kenwold setup.
Oh,
You
yeah.
put that on the
It's
car,
all
you could
you
go
need.
run that everywhere.
Yeah.
On all surfaces too.
I
Yeah.
think that's the point. Do we truly need all these bigger shocks and everything? And here's the deal.
No.
If y'all saw my
No,
comment,
no.
if y'all saw my comment, it was if it brings them to the yard, let them play. Right.
Right.
And that's the other aspect of it. Like I know Ronaldo Vega. He's a figurehead in the vintage community.
Is
He
he?
likes,
He's a
he
hitter,
is.
right?
Yeah, I mean, you know, look, I appreciate his angle on things he
Oh,
thinks
yes.
about, you know, and
Yeah.
he likes the idea of being able to take a vintage car and modifying it to whatever you want to do. And I appreciate that. I think it's cool. I've seen a lot of cool things out there. But I think that as a whole for the vintage racing, I don't want to create something that's going to kill it. And I think if you create a scene where it's going to cost you a couple $1,000s to put together a vintage car that's someone thinks is competitive, Like, you know, it's just like the old
It's like what happened
17.5.
with drag racing, right? It
Well, that and like
yeah.
17.5, you know, when you know the B5s all came out and every 17.5 RC, like you had to have ceramics and you had to have a slipper eliminator and you had to have a puck system and you had to have all this stuff. But then like you put in a kit car to like Spencer Rivkin's hands and he'd just go smash everybody by a lap. Like you don't need all that stuff. Someone says that you do, and then all of a sudden you need to. Now, again, there is a lot of beautiful and cool parts that you can do. And that's what like the RC10 Worlds car is like the Honda Civic of like RC cars right now. You can powder coated chassis, like molded carbon tubs. You know, Dragon Punch makes amazing carbon fiber pieces to build a car. Top deck chassis. There's all these cool things. So if you are a hobbyist and you want to do all that, it's awesome
Do
to
it,
be able to
but you
do all
don't
that
have
stuff.
to,
You don't
right?
have to be
And you know what?
competitive.
You know what's funny? Daniel McDade said, "What do you want the Losi guys to do? Still running vintage small bores." Well, you know what, Daniel? You're making everything else. Make some damn shocks and parts for the Losis,
Yeah, I mean, listen,
right?
I know that a lot of guys, I mean, again, the AE shocks are readily available. I know a lot of AE guys put a lot of guys put AE shocks on the Losi stuff. I think you look at Jose. Jose's probably on here watching somewhere. I know he still runs small bore stuff,
He
and I
does.
think and he has good success with all of that. So I
Calm
think
down.
that I think that, you know, if you just focus on some basic setup and just run the cars, make sure you got the tires where they need to be for the current track that you're on, I think you're going to find success with any of them. I mean, I remember when I was in California, I actually built a double XCR for Jimmy Babcock to race in an event. And so he could go against me with my Worlds car. And when I went and practiced with it, it felt better than my Worlds car. Like I was like, oh no, what am I gonna do? You know, and he ended up
Yeah,
beating me because it just felt
they
better.
are
And it
good
was
cars.
hilarious because I actually found an old Jimmy Babcock setup online and I put it on the car and I told him, I was like, hey, if this sucks, it's your fault. It's your old setup. You know, I was just like, you know, but you know, I think that the vintage cars are you know, I think that they definitely work really well on those setups. I think
Yeah,
that
I agree.
running them outdoors is awesome.
I just
Richard
think
had a comment for you.
people
Huh?
get real hung up
Read
on
the
the
comment.
shock part, but we can change
I'm chilling.
literally every part of the RC10.
Yeah.
You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah.
Yeah,
Do the shocks make a difference? Sure, but like most of us, like how many options for setup are on those old cars? Very few to begin with.
Sure.
And it's like if you literally show up at these tracks, have the same competent setup on that RC10, it works literally everywhere. If you have your tires right, I think you're just worrying about the wrong stuff. Like, you
well,
know,
I think it's about. Here's the deal. You've got Europe, you've got the US, you've got Australia. And do we need to all align? You
I think
know,
so. I
I
think
think
that I
what,
think we should just keep things very basic.
yeah,
I
I
don't think
agree.
that I think that as far as power goes too, like I think Europe wants to have the bigger motors. I think that just keeping like two-wheel drive cars, 17.5
You want
is
the
a better
bigger
way to go. I mean, honestly, I would almost borderline, might be controversial, just run a 21.5.
small bores,
Just
21 fives, and that's what we're
yeah.
doing in a
And I
lot of
think
the
we should keep it
classes,
that way.
right?
Well, and then like for instance, like I know I was just recently looking at the signups for the World of RC race coming up, and we can run the 6 gear car. But the problem is, you look at a 6 gear car, and you basically could just put a 6 gear on a World's car and call it good. I think that if you're going to run that particular class, you should have it like with the
Damn.
short
Now somebody's
arms.
going to do that, Chris.
What's that?
Now somebody's going to do that.
Well, I mean, not throwing him under the bus or anything, but that's
aren't
what
they already?
Smolnik did. Yeah,
Yeah.
Smolnik built one at the Vegas race. That's what he did. He had essentially a World's car with a 6 gear on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Was it a
feel
real
like
Bolts right
gear
up.
or was it one of the fake ones?
what's
I
that?
was a fan of the bigger motor. I wasn't at first. I was like, man, now I got to have all these 13.5s, you know, for two-wheel and all this. But honestly, why I'm a fan of the 13.5 in the two-wheel drive is nobody was hurting for motor. You're not going to be outmotored. Everybody was overmotored. in that situation. You know, like
I ran a 17.5. I wished I would have had a
There you
17.5 in my 89. It would have been faster. I might have made
Right.
I
the
know.
there
I
you
had
go.
a, yeah,
No,
I had a
no
17.5 in my
tech needed.
B3 and it ran so much better in my B3. And that, if I were going back, one of the things I wish I would have done in the World's car is I would have put a 17.5 in it. Cause it just on that particular track, it just didn't have the grip and that extra motor just created too much wheel spin. You know, it just
Correct.
wasn't, you
But
know.
what if you're motoring down and you know if the fastest guys are motoring down, that tells everybody like you ain't got to worry about motor. I think all of us knew that in Vegas. Motor was never going to be an issue there.
Yeah, no.
But
Motor
but
was
if you
not an
tell
issue
me,
because we kept taking it out.
yeah, if you tell me I got to show up to a race and run a 21.5, I probably won't.
Yeah, but when is the last time you put a 21.5 in a car?
Never once in my life.
Right. So
For good
I was
reason.
going to
Well,
run
the
one.
21.5s are like the 17.5s 5 years ago, to be honest.
Yeah, in all honesty, I've
Go
been
ahead,
at
Rob.
Hoosier and I've had a local hand me his remote and say, hey, can you drive this? Tell me what you think. And it does. It just feels like a little bit of an underpowered 17.5, but it runs good. You know, and I
Yeah.
think that like if you put that in I think at the end of the day, what we should trying to create is good racing. And I think that if you had the 21.5, especially at a track like Hoosier or even the Vegas race, you're not trying to huck the car over jumps. It's got enough power to make everything that you're trying to do. It's just going to create pack racing, you know. And again, try not to get into all the rules in life. Like I feel like this coming year with Roar, we're putting more power into the 17.5s and 13.5s, which is going to make it. I mean, like God, I just was at the Florida Carpet Champs, and you look at Nate Sutherland is running in stock buggy, like only a couple of tenths off of what the pro mod guys are running.
Isn't that
Unreal on
crazy?
that massive carpet track.
What's the point? What's the point?
Yeah.
What are we doing?
There's no major separation. You know what I mean? I get it. These guys are trying to exploit everything they can to give the best product that they can, and they're doing an awesome job at doing it. And that's what their job is. And spec racing is where all the money is at right now. But I
Yeah.
think that for vintage racing, I think that we should just try to create a good racing scene. And I think that 17.5 Stadium Truck, which we ran at Vonats, is more than enough power. I think that if we ran 21.5
Ooh.
in the two wheel is more than enough power.
Okay.
And then I think, honestly, 17.5, I know Scott runs a 17.5 in his Evo car a lot and has success with that. And I think that that's more than enough. And it's just going to create a window where it's like, all right, so some of these guys are actually still even running original cars. So it creates a window like
Yeah.
you put a
Brush
13.5
motor.
in my you put a 13.5 in my Evo four-wheel car, and it feels like it's got more power than my 7.5 in my B84. I mean, it rips. And
That's
so
why I ran that's why I ran a 17.5 in my four wheel in Vegas. I had a 17.5 in my four wheel.
yeah,
And honestly, I'm really curious what a 21.5 feels like in my B3. I talked
Yeah.
to one of the guys. He's one of my is a regional manager for Associated. I talked to one of my guys up in Denver, and I'm like, "What do you even gear this?" And he's like, 29.72. And I'm like, man, pretty soon we're going to be like 50 and 50.
Yeah.
yeah.
But the thing is these motors have so much torque. So I'm going to, out of shits and grins, I'm going to order a 21.5 SP5 if we have them. And just,
I think that one's left. That's about the only one.
well, yes, because nobody wants it. It's a 21.5. I wouldn't want it either.
I have one for my 6-gear car, and I've run it. Like I haven't had a race I've been able to take it to, but I've run it up and down the street. And I mean, it rips. I mean, it seems just fine. So
well, I'm gonna order one up, put it in the car, and when we go to Denver here at the end of February, we're gonna see what it's about. I mean, Moore's kind of a small indoor track. It's the oldest indoor off-road RC track left in the country. They're like, dude, they've got like 30 or 35 years. Like the Brockman family started it, back in the 50s.
Yeah.
But you gotta send us the details on that one, brother.
Dude, it's
that's Cody Newmandahl and Dustin Evans' home track.
That's their home track. So I knew all the racers before those two were like even 5 years old. Like
wow.
I've been going up to Moore Raceway for a long, long time. you know, there's a new owner up there. You know, Jeff Brockman stepped away, but you know, there's some new there's some new blood. We're gonna go check it out, kind of see what it's about.
All right.
But
So real quick, because we're coming up on 2 hours, guys. I know we could do this all night. If y'all want to, we can continue.
My phone's about to die.
Is it?
Yeah.
So
Hook it up on the charger, bro.
Let's kind of talk about what's next. So we've got the World of RC race coming up. That's on its 4th year. It's coming up in.
Who's going? Dirk, are you going?
It's coming up in February, right? Is that right? Is that right?
It's
January.
No, it's January.
Second weekend
Second
in
week.
January. Yeah.
Dirk, are you going?
I don't know that I'm going to be able to be there. If I am, it's probably not going to be the race. It's going to be to say hi and do something with Jose. So and see everybody. I am sponsoring the event. I do want to be there. I've just got some work stuff. That
is it an East Coast race?
Yeah, World of RC in
World RC in North Carolina. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's my very favorite surface that I ran a vintage car on. I love the traction and still on smoothies or ghost. What do we call them? Ghost slicks.
Yeah.
Ghost grinds. What do you call them, Chris?
It's just sanded. It's basically J Concepts green compound.
Sanded
slicks.
green Eclipse. Right.
Yep.
Why do you think we don't have a green compound smoothie?
I mean, it's a long answer, but it's more or less supply and
that'll
demand.
take 20 minutes to answer.
I in all honesty, I literally had this conversation with the man himself.
Right.
And it's just based off of how many green compound things are needed for everything else. And that's basically the gist of it.
You were having that conversation when I walked up on y'all at the Hoosier race last year that we're getting ready to all go to.
Yeah.
You were talking, y'all were talking about that exact same thing when I walked up. So
yeah, I mean, listen, Jason is a guy that's trying to give everything that he can to the community and try to make sure. Yeah. But the hard part is there's maybe 2 or 3 tracks in the country that would use a green smoothie. And what would he sell? 50 pairs a year, maybe.
Yeah,
so it's tough. It's tough to try to make something like that happen. I know the Smoothie 3 is offered in a green compound. I don't know if that's more of a dirt oval tire than it is an off-road tire. But honestly, having gone through the life of sanding tires, sanding a green compound tire, it's not a big deal.
No.
I watched you do it, and you were literally covered in tire shit for me. Thank you for doing it for me.
Yeah,
because it changed my world with my B4. I don't know why this is showing up this way, but this is the next big vintage race. Like I said, going on its 4th year. Nick DeVito, Raul Garcia, some of the old original guys.
Are you going to make sure Vega shows up?
I doubt Vega will be there. I'm sure like Jason Santos and Jason, if you're still on, reply. Are you headed down to the race with the crew with Mark and everybody? A lot of your normal vintage guys will be there, but Nick and a lot of us have worked pretty hard in the background to try to align the rules to get them kind of where we want them, and hopefully we can get Eric Reichert's arm twisted a little bit as well. But a great event, a great facility, nicely stocked hobby store, great owners. So it's really, really a good event. So I would highly suggest if y'all can go. Hello.
I think this is a race, Chris, that I asked you about.
Yeah.
A couple of weeks ago. I mean, the problem is I think that's the weekend I have to take my daughter back to college, but I'll look.
Okay.
Yeah,
it's tough for me too, because it's the Clash of Champions is basically we're headed up New Year's Eve.
Right.
We're there, and then they've actually, interestingly enough, ended that race on Saturday night, not Sunday night now. So we drive back, and then literally the following weekend, that Friday night after work, me and a crew of people, or sorry, Thursday night after work, me and a couple of guys from Georgia were rolling out to that race. So,
Yeah.
because it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday
Yeah.
is kind of the deal. So,
Yeah, it'll be a fly in, fly out for me, but I think that's right around when I have to take my daughter back to college. So I'll have to I'll have to look a little closer into that.
yeah, let
they-
me
would
know.
love
I mean,
to get to the East Coast.
if you're interested, we might do an Airbnb or something in the area and try and get it going, you know. So, but again, I know for anyone watching, the tire of choice, just from the locals I've talked to, is a green compound or a super soft of some sort, slick tire. Not anything ghosted. Pretty much anyone will tell you it's not worth having a ghosted. Just a slick tire is kind of the way to go for that surface. And it sounds
yeah, I
like they're
mean,
gonna. Last year, I guess they didn't have any heat on, but it sounds like they're gonna have the heat on in the building this year. And I know
well, they
that
got the heat
particular track
on.
actually,
Yeah.
they actually bought the pit tables from Beach RC, so they've got more new pit tables in the track. So that's gonna be nice for everybody. So should be a bit of an enjoyable event.
It will be, and I really like the silver smoothies there. To be honest with you, as well, they're a great working tire.
Sure.
Like you guys, I had no problems with them. Liked them. All the real fast guys were doing ghost tires though. They were sanding down the greens, the Eclipses. You know, your Frank Denny, your it's Big Dave McEwen's track that he goes to a lot as well. So
Oh
there's
yeah.
some fast dudes there, like fast dudes. So Adam, you need to hit that track at some point in time. You haven't been out there yet, have you?
No, I have not. I've had a few people tell me about it, but
Yeah.
being the week after Clash, that's a no go.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Come on. You could come sleep. We'll bunk together.
Yeah, they ain't getting the time off work. I got lucky with Eddie scheduling it the way he does. I don't have to take any time off work for
Right.
Clash this year.
Yeah.
But that means everybody else at work is already piled in and has everything else after that.
Hey, listen. It's just a Friday. You can get a Friday cough.
The Friday cough. I hope my
don't wanna
technician
explain
doesn't
to you
hear
the
this.
terribleness of my company's PTO policy.
I got you.
All right, guys. This is a great one. I would love to do another one and just talk more about rules. But hey,
Yeah.
you know what? To each his own. Jason's saying fingers crossed. I really hope he can make it.
Yeah.
And Lance is signed up. He's bringing my little dude down.
Hey, real quick. I want to hear you have to say. You
Ghost,
said you were
you do this.
going to talk about Lake Park.
Oh, Lake Park. Let me not
Yes.
forget Lake Park. All right.
Bring it
So
up. I saw Lance McDonald standing on a driver's stand, so let's hear it.
okay. So Lake Park.
out Lance
My
McDonald.
favorite childhood racetrack. You know, raced tons of winter nats and some other events there as a kid. And, you know, it's where, I got to spend and rub my elbows with a lot of the legends.
Which
And
also,
this
if
track is
anyone's
coming-
listening, it's the Florida Winter Nats, which was the known
Yes,
for.
Florida Winter Nats. It's coming back. And my goal is by next year, is to hold a vintage Winter Nats in Lake Park, Florida.
Hell yeah. I'd be down with that.
If not sooner, I want to do something big, man. I want to have the turnouts like we used to have back in the day, where we had 400 to 450 racers there. I really want to help. We're doing several waffles to raise money for Son and the crew down there. Jason and Lance and Jason's mom were all there the other day, looking at everything, trying to help. So we're gonna keep raising money. If you got something that you'd like to donate, that would be a good waffle card to help Lake Park, please hit me up. If you can contribute to the waffles, please do. Let's make Lake Park. Let's bring Lake Park back, man. It's going to be
100%.
one of the things he said to me the other day is he found on the very bottom as they were digging up, they found the 30-year-old red clay down at the bottom.
Nice.
So he's going to try to kind of swap the surface and bring the 30-year-old more loose clay back to the top.
Nice.
And wow.
So is it the original track?
Well, the very original moved, but it's on
Okay.
the same. It's in the same area, in the same park, basically.
Because it looked like when Lance was standing there, it was still like a track or like
Yes,
a surface.
yes.
Do they still
the
race there
original
right
was
now, or
only
is he
there. The
bringing the whole
original
thing back?
moved, I think, in. I'm trying to remember the year the original moved. I think it was like '88, maybe, where it moved over
Okay.
to a different area.
Yeah, yeah.
So yes, it's still in the same area of that era for sure. But the original was in a different area, which they moved. But it's still right there, man. It's back where many world champs and legends were born from that freaking track for sure.
I always remember
Tim
seeing
Scale
like the
has needed
bleachers.
that race back
So
Oh
what?
yeah.
so badly. We need
So
a
what?
more national outdoor 10
100%. And you know the other thing is Jason is bringing the outdoor series back. They are adding the 2-wheel drive, the stadium truck, and gas truck class will be added to his track choices. And I am very much hoping that Lake Park makes a cut for that. I would love to see that track come back and have its glory and be. I mean, they are busting their humps there right now. And it was in such, if you watched any of the videos, it was in such bad shape. So a shout out to Son. I've told him if he needs anything at all, to let the crew know. We'll do everything we can to help him. We've got a lot of people down close to that area. So let's do it, man. I think, you know, Jerry just said it, you know, vintage Nats at Lake Park here, take my money.
Yeah.
I just think it would be the most unbelievable thing. And looky there, there's the man himself, Lance Jones. We're signed up. Lake Park Winter Champs would be awesome. I don't think there's many people that are racing vintage RC that know RC that are even racing RC. Or wait a minute, let me re-say that. That are currently not racing vintage RC. I bet a race there would bring a whole new group of vintage people out to race on that track again. I almost guarantee you.
I would agree.
That one's legendary, and again, I'm a big fan of Phil Hurd Raceway in Savannah.
Yes.
That one is another huge iconic one. I know I was talking with Jason about that. They were trying to get that one back too, and I think he said he was like 12 years old the first time he went to Savannah, something like that. So that place is beautiful. It's got a lake in the background when you're standing on the driver's stand. It's awesome.
Yes. And I think that's what we need to talk about. We need to, there's a couple things that Jose and I are working on in the background. One, we're trying to, and this is something we've been trying to do for a while, and Jose's kind of taking the lead and we're making calls, but we're getting all the rules from all across the world. All the events were done in the US, all the events that are being done in Europe, all the events that are being done in Australia. And he's made a spreadsheet and we're kind of lining them up and we're trying to see where we're off, right? Can we squeeze it a little bit and get everybody a little closer? Correct. And then the other thing is we're going to line all the events up that we have, you know, kind of the events that are repeating every year. And then do we have, how many events are too many events? Is 4 too many? Is 5 too many? Do we need the regional guys to come on so that if we want to go race vintage and just run a couple classes, we can do that? I think that's already naturally happening after Indiana and Vegas. So, you know, what's too much? What is too much, you know, to have to travel? Do we have 4 big events a year and do one of them rotate, or do we have a 5th rotating event?
I don't think it's a problem. I think that for the most part in general, being a West Coast guy, I'm sure Scott could agree, is that when I lived in California, like there just was no vintage races.
Right.
Y'all had, now that I live out here, it's like there was the VanAirs and stuff like that was all out here, you know, and so I think that if there is a world where they can get something, and I know that Reichert actually had talked to Babcock about trying to plan something at Hot Rod, if that could ever actually end up happening, I think that would be an epic event to have at Hot Rod.
I've been trying to get Tammy to do something for
Give me an
years.
excuse to go back to Hot Rod, please.
Yes.
Yeah, I know Rayls came out when I lived there. That's when I first met him.
Twist an arm.
And
yeah, right.
I mean, Hot Rod's the spot. I mean, again, so much legendary stuff has actually happened there. I mean, kind of funny story too. Like if you a lot of people don't realize is that track actually the off-road track was a dirt oval. That's what it started as. I remember when I used to live there, we were building a track one day. They dug down so deep it got into the old concrete curbs from the dirt oval.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, there's a lot of history there. So I think that would be an awesome event to have there.
Yeah, I think we just got to sort it out. You know, Jimmy said he's on board whenever we're ready to do it.
Yeah.
You know, I think I'm gonna be honest. The two next big things I really want to work on is making the Kinwall Classic a big, huge vintage event that it deserves to be. Number one. Number two is bringing back Lake Park. Number three is probably focusing on the outdoor series with Jason and how can we bring in new people to that venue and hopefully make outdoor off-road racing great again, 10 scale racing great again, because I think it needs it. And think about it, man. When I was growing up, there wasn't a thing called an indoor track, man.
Yeah.
We traveled and we raced in outdoor tracks, but we also had our cars pulled up and we're charging our batteries that way and everything else. You know, things have changed. People have gotten a little more comfortable, a little more spoiled. We're kind of a different society than we used to be. But I think getting outdoors and, you know, having some beers and some barbecues and doing some racing, you know, I'll show up for that every freaking weekend if I can do it.
Yeah.
We're trying
I think it's definitely there. I think that if we just get the powers that be to get behind it and support it, I think we can make it happen.
I think RC3, there's some chatter about them. Brian Looper is trying to help get one going there. That's a track I used to race 8 scale at a lot. Some 10 scale. Great dirt there. As long as they could get the jump scaled down to where I would want to run my vintage car.
They run pretty good. The last time I ran there, I think I commented, I ran a stock buggy with the modern cars there, and I did well with my Riri car on that with small bore shocks, and had no problem.
But I would definitely go back to RC3 for some vintage racing 100% because I think that's within a few hours of me now. Huntsville, right? Huntsville, Alabama? Yeah. Huntsville. So yeah, I mean, there's exciting thing happening for vintage, man, and we keep it going. We figure out, you know, the nonsense that people are talking about, but more than anything, you know, like you said earlier, and like I said at Vegas, is let's make RC fun again, right? And that's what I think vintage is doing, and people like you guys are what's helping it. And you know, you guys are my dudes. I hope y'all know that, and I appreciate you spending some time with us tonight. And Chris, I can't wait to bunk with you again and for the Hoosier race.
Oh yeah.
I gotta get my
shout out
ready.
Eddie Henley. We'll be there.
Yes.
Just so you know,
Yes.
Their last series race before the clash happens is December. I think it's December 13th.
Yep.
Is the last series race they have. So I will be headed up there to do some testing. I'll be there all weekend. I'm going to go Saturday for the race and stay to Sunday and practice the new SC7 and T7 to get them ready for the clash. So I'll be there for that.
All right, let me know on that one. If I can get my shit ready before then, I'm going to try to join you.
Yeah.
Like everybody will be there. That's your last
the
chance to
13th
practice before the clash.
Okay.
Everybody
Get it done, Dirk.
Everyone.
Done.
Yeah.
I need to get them done. If I don't have another stinking ball game again on that date, if we keep winning, I will be having a ball game that Saturday. All right, my fellas.
Yeah, that's the last chance. So get that thing ready. If you need any help, we're here. Adam or out here. We'll get you up to speed.
Well, maybe I should have just sent it to you like the last one. No, I'll get it done. I need to build it.
I told you weeks ago about that, brother.
Well, I need to build it so I can understand it better. Y'all don't understand. Like a vintage car, I can build in my sleep. I can close my eyes and do it. Right? I just don't know all these pillars and different shit. And
the new cars just fall together. They're just so nice. You know?
The new cars go together with no Dremel needed.
Really?
Yeah. Oh,
really?
Yeah.
I'm gonna Dremel something on it. I can guarantee you that.
It's not a Losi. You don't need to do that.
Oh hell, Jose. Oh, there's Jose again.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Y'all have a good night. Deuces.
See you guys.
Later, y'all.
See y'all.
See you guys.
Bye-bye.